The problem with the theory of evolution isn't that it's wrong or anything, it's just that he took too long to say it. I mean, he went off into the wilderness and learned basically what Full Metal Alchemist taught in like a couple pages, a couple panels and stuff, you know. The 14-year-old boys could learn that, you know, all things die, and you're supposed to adapt, or, you know, if you stay the same, you're gonna die. You know, if he would have just wrote it on his back pocket, you know, or wrote it like on a little sheet of paper, put it in his back pocket, you know, he could have said F you to the Catholic Church and like stuck it in the Bible and stuff. But he had a whole, basically, he had a competing book. They were a book salesman. They were all book salesmen. What the hell? Of course they're gonna be threatened by the size of this book. Like, all you did though was talk about like the beaks changing and stuff. Like, you could have just said that, you know. But people wanted evidence, so they could go out there and figure it out themselves. I thought that was the whole purpose of the scientific study. They were supposed to get out there and study. If you do all their work for them, they don't do any work anymore. That's the Catholic game. If you do all the work for them, they don't do any more mental work, and then they just do the physical work. People don't want to actually do mental work. It stops them from doing physical work, and they find meaning in the physical work, because physical work is how they change their environment. Like, look at that bird. It's doing physical work. It's using the laws of physics to physically work. It's changing energy that it consumed into energy that it uses to do what it's been taught all its life. And what it's been taught all its life is that birds fly. Birds are pretty cocky about that. That's the only thing they say, that birds are supposed to fly. They'll push you out in the nest to test that theory. Sometimes you'll break your own neck. You'll see a dead bird lying on the floor, and it got there because its parents let it fall there, because its parents wanted to test the theory. This thing is supposed to fly, right? I'm only going to feed it until it's old enough to fly. And I was old enough to fly at that age, so off you go. That's an awful way of teaching, but it's efficient. That's the thing about evolution. It's just efficient. If it's so efficient, it doesn't matter how unlikely it is. It's bound to happen because it's efficient. If you don't learn how to break open these grapes with like your special absurdly large beak, Damien, you're gonna die. And that's basically what happens. You ostracize the mutants. You always ostracize the mutants. That's the theory. That's the missing link between, you know, evolution and everything else. You ostracize your mutants. Everything knows what a mutant is. It knows what it wants to have sex with, so it knows what a mutant is. And if it's a mutant, it doesn't want to have sex with it instinctively. And so if it doesn't want to have sex with it instinctively, then it won't have sex with it. But then how will it mate and stuff? Well, it's going to survive when all those idiots die off, because the food source that it was supposed to eat, like the leaves on top of these trees, are the only leaves around. So, you know, if you want to eat the giraffe, he's not going to be a dick. He's going to give you some leaves, but, you know, you're going to have to make some concessions to the mutant you ostracized. And that's basically it. That's the theory of evolution in a nutshell. You have mutants, and then you ostracize them, and then they do all your work for you. Didn't need a whole book for that. I did that in like 40 pages. Buy my book.